Part 32. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao Bai Sheng Wu. Chapter 325. It's almost my turn. Su Xian waited for a long time, and saw that there were only a few people in front of her. She almost burst into tears while holding her mobile phone, but when she saw the crowd of people behind her, she felt calm and even secretly happy. Su Xian, remember to take a photo with Teacher Miaobi when the time comes. In addition to the group photo, you should also take individual photos, and it's best to print them out. MDZZ, Lao Su brought a mobile phone. Did you think it was a camera? Foolish, mobile phone photos can be printed out. Wouldn't it be great to win a photo of Teacher Miaobi in a lottery? Can I take a photo of her legs? I can't stand the leg control. Teacher Miaobi's legs are still white. Tut tut, I really want to be stepped on. Seeing that the topic was getting more and more harmonious, Su Xian hurriedly restrained herself. After the fans in front of her were persuaded to leave by the staff, Su Xian tidied up her clothes and decided to be a quality fan. When Su Xian came forward, she saw Su Xian rubbing her arms, and her hands were obviously sore. Seeing her coming up, she said innocently, "Can I sign for you later? My hands are so sore." That innocent and malicious cute look made Su Xian the cutest angel, which made her eyes full of love and nodded frequently. There was no reason to refuse. "Mr. Miaobi, can we take a photo together?" Su Xian naturally seized the opportunity during this gap. Sure, Su Xian would certainly meet such a simple request from her fans. Besides, her hands were sore now, so she had to take some time to slow down. After taking the photo, Su Xian wanted Su Xian to say hello to the audience of the live broadcast. Su Xian refused righteously. Interact with the audience. What a joke. How many psychological shadows did she leave after live broadcasting several times? And the reason why she was exposed was because of live broadcasting. If she hadn't been exposed, everyone didn't know her identity. She would have retired if she wanted to. How could she come to the comic exhibition to suffer? The reason why she was invited to the comic exhibition now is not because she would be less criticized when she retired. Su Xian was not discouraged by Su Xian's rejection. After all, it was the fans who were rejected, not her. Thinking of this, she took the autographed photo and happily went to the platform selling peripherals next to her. Of course, before that, she had to wait for the girl named Yun Lan. At this time, Su Xian looked at Yun Lan and was shocked. "Wu, ba, Yun classmate, why are you here?" Suddenly, she thought of what Yun Lan said when she was taking a hot spring bath at Xian Yui's house. Suddenly, Su Xian was embarrassed. To be honest, if she still draws comics in the future, she might ask Yun Lan to be her comic assistant directly, but now in this situation, what to do? Su classmate. Yun Lan held a game box containing beautiful girl kaleidoscope, her eyes dodged, and handed it over. "Please, sign for me. The 200 free copies have been distributed." This beautiful girl kaleidoscope was bought by her next to her, and it was not cheap. But since it is a game supervised by Su Xian, she feels that she must support it as a fan. Of course, she originally wanted to ask the other party in person whether they were still recruiting comic assistants, but now she found that she couldn't open her mouth for various reasons. Su Xian looked at the game box handed over by the other party strangely, looked at Yun Lan, and asked solemnly, "Are you sure you want me to sign on it? This is Xiao Huanju, a girl. Be careful." Yun Lan also nodded solemnly. She planned to keep this as a collection and buy a game disc to play with it. If Su Xian knew Yun Ian's thoughts, she would probably be even more weird. And until Yun Lan left, she looked back at Su Xian every 3 steps, and she didn't say that she wanted to be Su Xian's comic assistant. But it's too late to regret now. When Yun Lan came over, Su Xian had already agreed to the request of the barrage audience with her mobile phone. by an external USB interface CD-ROM drive, connect it to the computer host of the internet cafe through a USB cable, and then download Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope in the CD through the external CD-ROM drive. Obviously, not only the audience can't wait for this game, but also Sushien. After all, Miyobi teacher is the heroine of this game in cosplay, so they naturally want to see the gameplay of this game. If it's fun, they will definitely play it. Yunlin, I'm going to the internet cafe to live broadcast the game now. Do you want to go? Sushien shook the game box, and then whispered excitedly, who knows, I may become the first anchor to live broadcast Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope. Yunlin originally came to the comic exhibition to see Sushien. Now that the original goal has not been said, the mood is a bit low, so he didn't refuse, just playing a game to relieve his mood. The two quickly left the comic exhibition, bought an external USB interface CD player, and then stopped a taxi and found a more upscale internet cafe. Once they entered the internet cafe, they found that there were few people, but the environment here was unique, but the price was also very expensive, 20 yuan an hour. Then Sushien and Yunlan found a secluded place to sit down. After Sushien turned on the computer and fiddled with the live broadcast software, she started live broadcasting on Bilibili. Now Bilibili's live broadcast platform has also become popular, thanks to Sushien several live broadcasts, which made a lot of news. In addition, Bilibili poached people in time, so the number of users of Bilibili has increased dramatically. In addition, Tencent's previous investment, now you can also log in with one click on Penguin. Therefore, Bilibili has a lot of users, and many people like to watch live broadcasts. Sushien is a popular anchor on Bilibili. Every time she starts broadcasting, there are more than 10,000 people watching. In Bilibili, where the number of live broadcasts is very real, more than 10,000 viewers are already considered medium. But when Sushien started broadcasting, she was stunned when she saw her live broadcast room. More than 50,000 people? This is just when the broadcast started. It's on, it's on. Don't waste time, Lao Su, hurry up and see if Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope is fun. More than 50,000 people, it's worth it for us fans to act as water army under teacher Miyobi's Weibo. Bilibili is really a dog, the game can only be bought at the comic exhibition. If you buy it online, it will take half a month to sell it. It's already in the top 50. Lao Su, work harder, and the live broadcast game will rush to the top 10. Sushien quickly understood the situation and knew that some of her fans went to teacher Miyobi's Weibo to promote it, so many people who were originally making a fuss on Weibo came directly when they knew she was going to broadcast the game. At this moment, she was very excited. Bilibili also has a ranking of live broadcasters. If her live broadcast room is in the top 10, wouldn't it be visible on the homepage? Thinking of this, Sushien couldn't wait any longer. As the news spread faster and faster, the number of people in the live broadcast room increased. When Sushien unpacked the game box, she didn't see the 16X logo on the lower right corner of the package. This means that this game can only be played after adulthood. Some people who were still at the comic exhibition paid attention to it. More and more people ran to the sales counter to ask. When they learned that this was a 16X game, many people looked weird. It turned out to be a 16X game. When many people were talking about it online, Sushien installed it and started the game. OVO. The update is so useless, but there is still a cute host. This makes me ashamed. Thanks to the cute host of the cool breeze rises and the night scene is bright. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 326. Sushien's live broadcast room was like a small puddle of water after the rain, which was stepped on hard by an adult, causing great turmoil. Originally, Sushien was outside the top 100 on Bilibili for many years. Today, because she shouted in the fan group that she would live broadcast Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope. The fan group completely broke the news. You should know that Bilibili has not started selling Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope online, and there is not even any news. This is not that Bilibili does not want to make money, but Chen Rui wants to do hunger marketing. First, promote it vigorously, using the game supervised by Susiener as a gimmick to attract a large number of fans and increase people's desire to buy. Then, after fans found out that this is a 16x game, they spontaneously promoted it online. Once these 2 points are achieved, he can sell it online before anyone starts live broadcasting. According to Chen Rui's idea, it is estimated that it will be on sale tomorrow. After all, news spreads too fast in modern society. And one day is enough for Susiener's fans to have a strong desire to buy. Of course, there is a premise, that is, it is best not to reveal the screen of this game, because when fans know the content of this game, they may lose the desire to buy it. As a result, Chen Rui did not expect that Susien, a girl, would be so eager to run to the internet cafe to live broadcast. After the fans at the comic exhibition found out that this was a restricted game, they also took photos and uploaded them to the internet. In addition, Suxien's fans shouted so much, and many people ran to Suxien's live broadcast room to watch the live broadcast. At this time, Suxien had already started the game, and she didn't know that the number of people in her live broadcast room was increasing. As soon as the audience ran over and entered the live broadcast room, they were shocked by the extremely beautiful pictures. This picture. Too beautiful. Nima, this game. If you don't buy it, you are not a Chinese. I used to be confused about why I was born on Earth. Until now, I know that I was born to play this game. 666. It hurts my heart. Although the statement is exaggerated, everyone has no complaints about the game's pictures. Anyone who sees it will only hold the language of admiration. After all, there is really no flaw in the picture. And Suxian was obviously conquered by the picture. She felt that she had to cut these pictures and use them as her computer desktop, which would definitely make her happy. Of course, since it was a live broadcast, Suxian did not forget her purpose. That is to let the audience know about this game and give purchase suggestions after playing it. But Suxian felt that she could recommend it to the audience based on this picture alone. And when Suxian started playing, she gradually immersed herself in it. The story of the first part of Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope is not strong, but now neither Suxian nor the audience pays attention to the plot. Of course, it is nonsense to say that they don't pay attention at all. As Suxian played slowly, she didn't know that her live broadcast room had jumped to the first place. Millions of viewers made her famous. In order to play this game more happily, Suxian set the barrage to prevent the barrage in the lower right corner from interfering with herself. So she naturally couldn't see the dense barrage and the number of viewers. Otherwise, Suxian's mentality would probably be unbalanced, and then she would not see many comments saying that this is a restricted game, which made the audience more interested. While playing, Suxian also learned about the plot. The protagonist Xia Yan is a new and energetic horror novel writer with a quiet and herbivorous personality. He is the type who yearns for dreams, and he has different topics with people of the same age and few friends. Because of work, he came to this hotel and met the beautiful girl Lianhua in the room. As soon as Lianhua appeared, many viewers began to swipe the screen. Wow, isn't this the character that teacher Jingsha just cosplayed? I thought it was someone else, but it turned out to be Lianhua. What a pity that teacher Miyobi and teacher Jingsha fell down, otherwise we could have seen teacher Jingsha cosplaying Lianhua at the book signing event. Speaking of this, I remembered the scene of two beautiful girls kissing. Wow! Kissing in front of so many people, is this considered a public execution? The Yuri party heard the news and moved. Long live Yuri! Get lost, teacher Miyobi is a normal beautiful girl, and she will definitely get married and have children in the future. I still want to see little Miobi. Unconsciously, within half an hour, a large number of Yuri parties and marriage parties appeared under Susieno's Weibo. The Yuri party felt that teacher Miobi was too beautiful, and they really didn't want a boy to ruin teacher Miobi, so they simply let teacher Jingshu and teacher Miobi be Yuri together. Wouldn't it be wonderful? The Mary party thinks that the union of yin and yang is the way of heaven, and the worst of the three unfilial acts is not having a son. Teacher Miobi will definitely get married in the future, and as fans, they will definitely keep a close eye on it. Wouldn't it be fun to have another little Miobi during the live broadcast? And they feel that the Lily party is interfering in a girl's normal life, which is really abominable. How is this different from forcing idols to be virgins? Idols are also people, and they have their own private lives. The exchange of fire between the two parties was very fierce, and the largest number of people belonged to the Let It Go party. They felt that as fans of Susienour, they should tolerate each other's strengths and weaknesses. They accept Susienour's lesbianism. They also accept Susienour's marriage, reluctantly. Among these three parties, a fourth party has emerged, that is, the single party. They think that Miobi teacher is so beautiful, who can marry her? Who is qualified to let Miobi teacher bow down and marry? As a result, as soon as this statement came out, it was sprayed by the lesbian party and the marriage party. Do you want Miobi teacher to be a lonely old man? How lonely it would be to be old without descendants and no one to accompany her. However, although the single party is the smallest, they are very strong. They think, even if Miobi teacher has no descendants, so what? With fans like them accompanying her, Miobi teacher will definitely not be lonely. In the future, when they get married and have children, they will let their children watch Miobi teacher's works. Let their sons and daughters like Miobi teacher. Of course, other parties sneer at such remarks. At this time, Susienour didn't know about this matter, and Su Xian didn't know about her live broadcast room, because this matter actually tore up. The most important thing is, this party is about to split the Princess Knights. When Chen Rui learned about this, he was stunned. How hummed up and boring must it be to argue about this online? However, what Chen Rui didn't know was that there are a lot of boring people in this world, a lot. A lot. Max. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 327. Chen Rui found the party dispute very tricky. So he planned to tell Susienour about this matter and let her worry about it herself. However, this party dispute almost split the Princess Knights, which made Chen Rui speechless. The specific reason seemed to be because of Yecheng. This guy was a staunch lesbian party. He thought that teacher Miobi was so beautiful that she must be a fairy who gathered the essence of heaven and earth. Didn't you see that her name was Susienour? So other men were pigs, including himself. If Susienour got married, wouldn't she be defiled? Fairies who were defiled would be punished by heaven. Teacher Jingshu and teacher Miobi have lived together for a year. The two are so loving. Lesbianism is the right way. Obviously, Yecheng has been deeply poisoned. Li Xiangdong and Yuan Dong are different from Yecheng. Their goal is to marry Susienour as their wife, and with the exposure of Susienour, this goal has become a dream. So when this kind of party dispute appeared under Weibo, Yecheng thought that the two people were on the same side with him, but after discussing it, the three of them almost broke up. Okay, this is just a joke. The three did not break up, and the friendship is still there. It's just that Yecheng feels that he should guard against these two bastards and not let them succeed. And Li Xiangdong and Yuan Dong did not form an alliance. After all, both of them dream of marrying teacher Miobi, and the two are enemies of life and death. Zhao Jing, like Chen Rui, remained silent about this matter. After all, this is Su Xian's own private matter. And Chen Rui is now most concerned about the live broadcast of Su Xian on Station B. The staff said, "Mr. Chen, do you want to close this live broadcast room? Generally speaking, such trivial matters will not be reported to him. After all, he is the chairman, how can he pay attention to everything? But he has already communicated with the staff, as long as there is anything about Su Xian, report it to him as soon as possible." So he knew about this live broadcast room as soon as possible. Chen Rui thought about it, shook his head and said, "Forget it, let her broadcast first." According to Chen Rui's idea, he would sell it online tomorrow, but this anchor disrupted his plan. But this is harmless. Thinking about it, Chen Rui slowly said, "When this anchor named Su Xian broadcasts restricted content, block her live broadcast room. When the live broadcast starts, if it is blocked for no reason, it will naturally be sprayed by fans and will have a bad impact on Bilibili." But this anchor named Su Xian obviously didn't know that this is a restricted game, maybe she still broadcasts it even if she knew. But this is okay. In Chen Rui's opinion, he was going to do hunger marketing. As long as he got through today, online sales tomorrow might make the sales of Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope explode. Okay, the staff understood. At this time, more and more people were in Su Xian's live broadcast room, and the content and plot of Su Xian's live broadcast had reached a certain point. This beautiful girl named Lianhua took out a kaleidoscope and let the protagonist Xia Yan's consciousness enter the inner world. Then the scene changed, and after the teacher Xinggu introduced himself, the audience knew that this should be the beginning of the real plot of Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope. And as the plot deepened, the audience gradually began to discuss the game. As for the party quarrels, they were banned by the room manager. However, the first part of Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope was not very amazing in terms of plot, and it was a bit thin. But with the appearance of Wazi, the audience did not discuss the plot at all, maybe, but most of them were covered by the remarks of Wazi is my wife, bullshit, it's my wife, since you all like Wazi, I will secretly take away the teacher Miobi, insolent, put down the teacher Miobi, psychopath, are all women your wives? And as the plot gradually deepened, when the teacher Shengu's self-description let the audience know that this is a fan with a perverted hobby for beautiful girls, many people had an ominous, excited, premonition. Especially when the comments said this was a restricted game, many people were looking forward to the next plot. Su Xian didn't think too much about it. Since she turned off the comments, she was the only one who played the game seriously. As the plot deepened, she frowned slightly. The story of this game didn't seem to be very good. Especially since you can't control the characters, and you can only click on the options, Su Xian felt that this was a story game. Yes, after playing it, it was like reading a novel. And this game, at best, is just a novel game. Of course the voice actor's performance is also very good. But Su Xian felt, that's all? However, Su Xian thought that this was a game supervised by Su Xian, and guessed that the plot would be different later? Maybe there would be a reversal? With this expectation, Su Xian continued to play. When the plot developed to the castle, when Wazi appeared in a gorgeous black costume, the comments couldn't help but scream. Some comments even asked the fans at the scene to ask Miobi teacher to cosplay the set of clothes. After that, Shengu confessed to Wazi, and of course the confession failed. Just when Wazi was about to suck Shengu dry, Shengu exploded. Although Shengu was afraid of death, he was more afraid of not being able to leave a good memory with Wazi before he died. In the subsequent plot, many viewers thought that this was a story of the protagonist's counterattack, but what did they see? That Shengu actually tied up Wazi and began to violate Wazi? When the exquisite original painting was completely displayed in front of the audience and Su Xian, many people were shocked. The exposed skin and the petite body shining with luster are about to be violated by the beastly teacher? Of course, although this teacher is a beast, they have already brought it in, so the audience's hearts seem to be extremely excited. The female audience spit, but they feel it is extremely attractive and want to continue watching. Su Xian was stunned. What is this? Isn't this a game? What's going on? Why is it like this all of a sudden? This style is wrong. Hurry up, the anchor, continue. The tissues are ready, just waiting for the anchor to continue playing. By the way, this scene will not be like the novel, with a one night of ecstasy and just pass it by. It should be, not. The pants have been taken off, the small TV has been given, please hurry. Su Xian didn't know that the barrage had gone crazy. She hesitated for a while and continued to play. When Wazi's delicate body was fully exposed and was violated by Shengu, Su Xian felt very uncomfortable, her hands seemed to be mechanical, and she was too lazy to listen to the voice actor's voice. She even hesitated whether to fast forward. The next moment, the screen was black. The audience quickly refreshed. The anchor is becoming a magical girl. Everyone was silent. At this moment, they thought that magical girls should die. Magical girls must die? I wanted to describe the scene of Wazi being violated in detail. Suddenly I thought of the dozen chapters that were blocked. So I decided not to do it. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 328. When the live broadcast room was blocked, Su Xian looked confused, but for some reason, she felt relieved in her heart. Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Yun Lan, who was next to her, had already turned red. If she hadn't felt that Su Xian would be sad if she walked away, she would have stayed away from Su Xian. After all, the graphics of this game are too vulgar. Su Xian, who was blocked from the live broadcast room at this time, received a background message reminding her that the live broadcast involved restrictions, so her live broadcast room was temporarily blocked. After being blocked, Su Xian looked around. Fortunately, business in the internet cafe was not good today, and there were not many people. Otherwise, her shame would probably explode if she played a restricted game live. But after looking at the number of viewers and the barrage, Su Xian couldn't help but stare with almond-shaped eyes in disbelief. More than 3 million people. And the number of people is still growing rapidly, with no intention of stopping. As for the barrage, the screen was completely occupied, and even the dense barrage made Su Xian unable to read a complete sentence in the barrage. Which fellow Taoist can blow up Station B? Please crowdfund to blow up Station B. MMP, the most exciting place. Just gone like this? The chicken doesn't want to have a holiday today, it wants to move. Didn't I say that there is an inner world at Station B? Only adults can enter the live broadcast room in the inner world. The anchor should use black technology. Obviously Dan Mu also knew that the live broadcast room was harmonized by Station B itself, but even though they said so, they could understand it. But the last sentence made those who saw it brighten their eyes. Some anchors want to do this, but unfortunately Chen Rui has asked the staff to warn many anchors. As for going live on other live streaming platforms, this is just a dream. Modern live streaming of a game also requires copyright. If Station B doesn't delegate power, which live broadcast platform dares to broadcast live? And many viewers are worried, their hearts are aroused, and they just hope that Station B will start selling Beautiful Girl 1 Who a Mirror as soon as possible. At this moment, many people know why the story of this game is not strong and a little thin. This game is not for playing at all, but for use. It is extremely practical. Just when the internet was surging, a large number of live broadcast viewers went to Station B's customer service to complain. It's been a long time since I trolled anyone. Why isn't there any news lately? Lin Yu was sighing at home at this time. As a big V on Weibo, he did not become famous by gathering fans. He is famous for trolling people, and of course he has a nice tag on Weibo. Entertainment critic. Well, it's an upgraded version of Keyboard Man. Of course, Lin Yu said that if he had nothing to do with him, he would soon be exhausted. This is definitely not what he wants to see. Fame represents interests, interests represent money, and money represents survival. So trolling people is equal to his motivation to live. If there is nothing for him to calm down and criticize, sooner or later he will become angry. But what's in the news lately? Surprised. The identity of the princess in the comic book industry is exposed. She is a super beautiful girl who has just entered college. Your Name has taken the country by storm. It is a box office monster and is gobbling up the box office. Teacher Miyobi announced his participation in the Yanjing comic exhibition. There are so many people at this comic show, it's so scary. The beautiful kiss of Teacher Miyobi and Teacher Jingshu. Wait. Nowadays, the internet is almost occupied by these news. This makes Lin Yu very painful. To be honest, he really wanted to sneer at Susienner, even though she was very beautiful. Lin Yu almost became a fan of her after just one look. But the other party is not his wife. As long as it's not his wife or parents, he can troll anyone. And as long as the benefits are enough, he can even troll himself and his family if he goes crazy. But Susienner simply gave him no point to complain about. As for complaining about the other party as a painter, someone has already said this. It's been more than a year since this incident, and it would be retarded to talk about it again. As an entertainment industry critic who speaks well and keeps up with the times, Lin Yu really wants to catch Susienner's popularity. Just a trivial thing the other party does can make it trending on Weibo. This is simply a headline-making machine. So since Susienner's exposure, Lin Yu has been paying attention to her. But today Lin Yu received a piece of news, and he knew the heat was coming. The man in black is one of his informants on the internet. This guy has his own way of grasping information. As long as the other party grasps the sensitive points, he can cause a series of things on the internet. Lao Bai, I have some information. Do you want 50,000? Lin Yu's nickname on the internet is Verbal and Written Attack. 50,000, Lin Yu took a breath, and then typed quickly, are you sure your intelligence is worth that much? In the past, first-hand information was in the hundreds and thousands, but now it costs 50,000. Sure. Do you want it? If not, will I sell it to someone else? Give me a keyword. Who is it about? There was silence for a while, and then a word emerged. Su. Susienner. Almost instantly, Lin Yu became excited, typing, and asked, Susienner. Wonderful writing. Do you want it? The man in black did not answer, but continued to ask, and seemed very impatient. After all, he could find that others might also find out, and the competition now was speed. I want it. Lin Yu transferred the money directly online. He knew that this was also a big gamble. The money has been transferred, check it. A minute later, the man in black sent 2 videos, and then typed, the video is only valid for 1 hour, you are the first. Lin Yu knew that this so-called timeliness meant that the black-clad man would sell the news to someone else in an hour. He only had 1 hour, and after this hour, the 2 videos would be in someone else's hands. Got it? After downloading the video, Lin Yu opened it. The first video was only half a minute long. Lin Yu quickly took a look and found that it was a speech by a staff member named Xiao Qin before Susienner's autograph session. Then he opened the second video, which was a recording of a live broadcast room. He first looked at the title of the live broadcast room, the first player in the universe to live broadcast Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope. This video was very long, nearly an hour long. Lin Yu quickly flipped through it, which took nearly 20 minutes, and he got excited. In the first video, Xiaoqin said a paragraph, the strategy for the game character is to attack the Miyobi teacher. This paragraph is actually nothing, after all, it is to promote the game. But combined with this live broadcast recording, the character of Miyobi teacher's cosplay was actually used by the character in the game. If no one guides, maybe everyone will just be surprised, or even more obsessed with Susienner. And after all, it's cosplay, and the character is restored so perfectly. But, what if there is guidance? Combined with Xiaoqin's words, the character to be conquered is to conquer Miyobi teacher. He. Lin Yu smiled, he was sure to take advantage of this wave of popularity. Susienner naturally didn't know that someone wanted to use her for hype, but if she knew what Lin Yu was thinking, she would even urge the other party to quickly confront her. Because of the enthusiasm of the fans, she felt a little uncomfortable. After all, she was going to retire, but the fans were so cute, even if she was heartless, she didn't want everyone to be sad. So, Susienner actually always wanted to find a reasonable reason. Now the opportunity has come. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 329. Since he has decided to take advantage of Susienner's popularity and has found a point to criticize, Lin Yu has started to act now. He has to act, after all, he still has 20 minutes left. In other words, the man in black in these two videos is likely to sell the information to others in 20 minutes. Of course, it is not ruled out that other people, like the man in black, have a keen sense of smell and combine these two things and think of this. However, Lin Yu is not panicking. He has been following Susienner's Weibo for many years and knows that her Weibo is very chaotic now. A fan group has split into 4 factions today, and they are worried about Susienner's marriage. What lesbian, getting married, being single and eating melons. In Lin Yu's opinion, these fans are so boring that they explode. Susienner is just a freshman, okay. Even if she gets married, it will be after graduation. In Lin Yu's opinion, Susienner, a winner in life, is extremely picky about her spouse. If she is too picky, she will probably become a lonely old person in decades. But none of this has anything to do with him. Now the internet is changing, with a new hot topic every day. As a person who is active on the internet, Lin Yu has long been numb. And today Lin Yu is going to take advantage of Susienner's popularity. Of course, it may have a certain impact on Susienner's reputation, but it has nothing to do with him. Let's throw dirty water first and then talk about it after attracting enough attention. Thinking about it, he began to write. As a Weibo Big V, his Weibo fans have reached more than 7.3 million, which is considered a relatively large marketing account. But Lin Yu believes that after this wave, his fans will definitely increase to more than 10 million, not 10 million, but 20 to 30 million. Many people like him want to take advantage of Susienner's popularity. But if they can't find an excuse, they can just follow the media to praise, although they can take advantage, but everyone is aesthetically fatigued. Isn't it natural to praise the Miyobi teacher? So Lin Yu knows that when he starts to spray, he will definitely attract enough attention. Of course, he was ready to anger Susienner's fans. After all, the other party's more than 200 million fans were really frightening. He believed that he would have to face a storm once this article was published. However, he believed that as long as he could bear it, according to the words of online novels, he would become an immortal. With a marketing account of tens of millions, the small money would definitely come in. And if Susienner could respond to him and argue with him, he might become a big star. Although Lin Yu was blinded by lard, he was absolutely calm. After he wrote the article, he revised it and then contacted the Water Army, intending to let them spread what he wrote, and then he could let it go. After all, now on the internet, as long as the two names Susienner and Miaobai are concerned, a lot of people will pay attention. What's more, he is throwing dirty water on Susienner, and this kind of popular thing will definitely attract enough attention. Bilibili. Miaobai teacher. What are you doing? This is the title of Lin Yu's article, absolutely powerful and deafening. After checking the text, Lin Yu directly posted it on his Weibo. He saw that there were still 7 or 8 minutes to an hour, but at this moment Lin Yu was no longer in a hurry. He had already agreed with the Water Army that this article would be flooded on Weibo in a short time. Although it cost a lot of money, there was no other way. This is time sensitive. As long as he can always be on the front line, this money will be returned to him countless times in the future. 10 minutes later, Yexing, Yuan Dong and Li Xiangdong, who were attending the comic exhibition at this time, were queuing very slowly. They overslept, so they had no choice. Hey, Lao Yet! Look at this! Suddenly, Yuan Dong, who was in the front line, handed over his mobile phone with an angry face. What's wrong? Yexing and Li Xiangdong looked curious, then took each other's mobile phones and saw the powerful title, and then turned down and couldn't help but look livid. As a die-hard fan of Miaobi, I have been following her since she debuted, but today I got a shocking news. Bilibili has been developing a game called Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope, and I heard that it was supervised by Miaobi herself. But this game is an erotic game. If it were just that, it would be fine. After all, Miaobi debuted with a book. But why did you cosplay Wazi, Miaobi? As a game supervisor, doesn't Miaobi know what Wazi is in the game? Attached, Wazi being US, mosaic version. The picture above is the last picture of a previous anchor's live broadcast on Bilibili. Such a vulgar picture, and the girl on the insulted picture is Miaobi. The character cosplayed by Bai Teacher. As a die-hard fan of Miaobi Teacher, I am very disappointed. I don't know why Miaobi Teacher wants to cosplay this character. Is it a mandatory requirement of Bilibili? If so, please speak up. As a fan, I will definitely support you to the end. But if it is voluntary, please forgive me for turning from a fan to a hater. Because the more realistic the cosplay is, the more disgusting it makes me. You should know that Xiao Qin, a staff member of Bilibili, made it clear at the signing event. To capture the game character is to capture Susienner. This obvious hint, coupled with Miaobi Teacher's popularity, is simply selling out. With Miaobi Teacher's worth, it shouldn't be necessary to do this, right? Can you give me a reply as a fan? At Miaobi at Bilibili official blog. After reading this passage, the three people's faces were livid. Someone was trying to stir up trouble. Moreover, many words in this article called criticize and criticize were ambiguous and ambiguous, which made people think of a lot of things after reading it. On the surface, he was a die-hard fan, but in fact, he was a hater. What made the three of them very angry was that this article had spread all over the internet. You should know that the topic about Susienner is absolutely very hot now. In addition, Lin Yu hired a water army to hype it up, and this was the first one to black Susienner. It jumped to the top 3 of Weibo's hot searches in an instant, which was simply terrifying. This made Lin Yu even more overjoyed. He didn't expect that the water army had not really started to exert its strength, but it jumped directly to the top 3. This means that his topic is definitely popular among the masses. At this time, at the signing event, reporters had already received the news, and they wanted to come to Susienner with their long guns and short guns. Mr. Miaobi, what do you think about the verbal criticism on Weibo? When the reporters who couldn't rush in were stopped, a young reporter couldn't help but ask loudly in the comic exhibition. Soon, other reporters couldn't sit still and spoke up. Mr. Miaobi, did Bilibili force you to cosplay Wazi in Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope? Mr. Miaobi, what do you think about the verbal criticism that said that people cosplay on the surface but sell themselves in reality? Mr. Miyobi. Sitting in her seat, Susienner was confused, not knowing what was wrong with these reporters. However, the chaos at the scene made the staff react, and more people knew about the things on Weibo. When Xiaoqin looked pale and guilty, Susienner said inexplicably, "What's wrong? Mr. Miyobi, I. Xiaoqin's eyes were red. She didn't expect that it was just her slip of the tongue that was targeted by the black fans. When Susienner learned about this from the other party, she was stunned and almost started to criticize. But after thinking about it for a while, isn't this a good excuse? An excuse to retire? You want to criticize me? Okay, I'm too sensitive, I'll retire because of your criticism." For a moment, Susienner almost laughed out loud. She was already worried about how to retire, but this person called verbal criticism actually came to her door. It's a godsend. Of course, she plans to keep silent for a few more days. After all, she has too many fans. When there are too many black fans, once she retires, there will definitely be no fans to keep her. Of course, the most urgent thing is to find an excuse to leave the comic exhibition. There are too many people in this crappy comic exhibition. And sitting here to sign autographs, her hands are so sore and she is so bored that she wants to go back to the dormitory to read novels, play games, and watch anime. It's so nice to be a salted fish. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 330. The news on Weibo soon reached the ears of Chen Rui and Zhao Zheng. The two of them had gloomy expressions on their faces, obviously knowing that the guy named Speaking and Punishing was just looking for trouble. As a marketing account, when the other party finds an opportunity, he will naturally start black people without any limit. After all, this can greatly increase the other party's popularity. In the past, Susienner had no dark spots, but now. Thinking about this, Chen Rui had a headache. He read the Weibo and found out that Xiaoqin had said the wrong thing, but now was not the time to blame. The top priority is to do some public relations. As for responding to the verbal criticism, that's something only a mentally retarded person would do. The other party's goal is to increase their popularity, and now they go and start a fight. Doesn't this allow the other party to succeed in their goal? But they can't do nothing. This is what makes the sunspots so irritating. They are disgusting, but there is nothing they can do about it. In addition, Susienner is the treasurer of the two of them and the Animation Administration Bureau. If something goes wrong, let's not talk about the two of them. People from the Animation and Animation Administration will not sit idly by and watch. Chen Rui's eyes suddenly lit up. It would be great if someone from the Animation Administration Bureau intervened in this matter. Is everything okay with Teacher Miyobi? Chen Rui felt relieved after thinking clearly. Teacher Miyobi said he was not feeling well, so he wanted to go back first. I have asked a special car to take Teacher Miyobi back to school, the staff reported. Chen Rui nodded. Susienner couldn't stay at the comic exhibition at this time. After all, such a big thing happened on the internet and it spread like this on the internet in just 10 minutes. If it affects reality and allows those crazy reporters and fans to hurt Susienner, it will be too late to regret it. As for the follow-up situation of the comic exhibition, Chen Rui is not too worried. The popularity of Comic Expo is now big enough, and with this happening, he estimates that many people will want to come to Comic Expo. It can be said that the organizers of comic exhibitions are the biggest beneficiaries. This comic exhibition is expected to be recorded in the history of the ACT Circle. When Xiana Yuing and Wang Zimen got the news and ran over with worried faces, they were told by the staff that Susienner and Lin Jingshu had been picked up by a special car and sent back to school. Of course, the two of them didn't want to stay here anymore. After all, something big happened to their friend. They wanted to make a call, but Lin Jingshu and Susiener's mobile phones were out of battery, so they had to go back first. At this time, on the way to school in a special car, Lin Jingshu, who was sitting in the back seat, looked at Susiener with a worried look on her face. She saw that the other person looked depressed and lacked energy. This was the first time she had seen Susiener in such a condition. When was Susiener not full of energy in the past? Thinking about this and the article on Weibo, she felt filled with hatred. But she had no way to stop it, and the staff at Station B asked her not to speak on Weibo. After all, if she said the wrong thing like Xiaoqin did and was caught by those who can throw dirty water for profit, this would things may get bigger and bigger. According to the person in charge of Station B, it is best for this matter to calm down quickly. After that, Lin Jingshu and Susiener got into a special car. However, Lin Jingshu comforted her for a long time, but Susiener was still like this, which made her look anxious and she didn't know how to comfort her. However, when the distance from the comic exhibition was getting further and further away, Susiener's originally sluggish spirit suddenly cheered up. She patted her flat chest and said with a smile, "I finally left that lousy place." Lin Jingshu couldn't help being dumbfounded when she saw this, and blurted out, "Classmate Su, you looked decadent just now, what's going on now?" "Hi, it was difficult to say just now. I just wanted to find an excuse to go home." Susiener originally thought that she would stay at the comic exhibition for 4 or 5 days, but she didn't expect that because of the incident on Weibo today, she would be able to go home right away. And there is no need to come to Comic-Con anymore. Even if she wanted to go, Chen Rui would probably stop her. Lin Jingshu had been living with Susiener for a year. She reacted instantly and couldn't help but said in embarrassment, "If you pretend to not tell me, it will make me worry in vain." She originally thought that Susiener was hit, but along the way it was no less comforting. Now that I think about it, it is simply too retarded. Weren't there just too many people with eyesight just now? Susiener lay down, pillowed directly on Lin Jingshu's lap, and squinted her eyes comfortably. "Don't worry. I have found a super reasonable reason." She was about to say retreat, but when she thought about where the driver was, she didn't say much more. When the two returned home, Xiana Yueying and Wang Zimen also came back. Both of them looked worried, but after understanding the situation, they couldn't help but feel relieved. Of course, Wang Zimen looked furious and wanted to find out the verbal and written critic and then destroy him humanely. Of course, this impulsive idea was quickly dissuaded by the three of them. Susiener even had a cold sweat on her face. She really believed that Wang Zimen dared to do this. After all, his father was the richest man in the world and had great power. In the afternoon, Chen Rui and Zhao Jing called one after another. However, the two people who wanted to comfort them received a voice from Susiener telling them not to worry about it, and even vowed that she would handle the matter. "By the way, Director Chen, please remember to sell Beautiful Girl 1 Who a Mirror online on time tomorrow. Sales will definitely be hot." Hearing this, Chen Rui knew that this matter obviously did not have much impact on Susiener, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Of course, Susiener told them not to care about this matter, which also made Chen Rui and Zhao Jing choose to believe each other. They did not even notify the Animation Management Bureau to intervene in this matter. Because they feel that the more they interfere in this matter, the verbal critic may be able to catch the sore foot, and then the fire will become bigger and bigger. In addition, although Susiener is usually very unreliable, at such a critical time, the other party should not act randomly, right? After all, this is about the reputation of the other party, and the most important thing is the reputation that girls care about very much. The word verbal and written criticism was reserved. Apparently, he was afraid of being criticized by Susiener's fans as a fool, so he didn't say it blatantly. But even so, in just half an hour, The other party's Weibo had already been exploded. But the most despicable thing is that this verbal critic actually set up the following system to comment, which made many people understand what this Weibo account is for. This guy just wants to take advantage of the opportunity to gain followers. Many people understand it, but even if they understand it, they still have to comment. Anyway, they can just unfollow him after commenting. It has to be said that Lin Yu's goal was achieved. In just half an hour, his attention reached more than 20 million. It just made him smile from ear to ear. Many people like him and the media were shocked when they saw this scene, but they did not dare to act rashly. You must know that people like Susienur, who has more than 200 million Weibo fans, are a behemoth in front of many media and marketing accounts. This is not something to be trifled with. An incident happened before. Sayori Asada was trolled by a marketing account for her beauty. As a result, that person was tortured the next day and beaten into a fool by his fans. This is not the first case, nor is it the last, although it was only a few years ago. It's now 2017. With the internet explosion and the overall quality of the nation rising, this kind of thing is becoming less and less common, almost non-existent. In addition, the entertainment industry itself is a chaotic place, as many fans know, so when it comes to celebrities in the entertainment industry, except for a few idiot fans, most of them treat them calmly and not be impulsive. But the media and other marketing accounts decided not to take sides yet. They have to see which way the trend is heading first. Of course, it is still okay to report on this matter. Anyway, they can use ambiguous headlines to cause trouble. It's best to make this matter bigger and bigger. Of course, the reason why they dare not act rashly is because Susienur is not from the entertainment industry. The other party is someone who has emerged in a niche industry such as comics. It is of great significance to the overall ACK industry. Many people know that Susienur is a model set up by the Animation and Animation Administration. If she goes too far, she will be harmonized. In addition, most of Susienur's fans are die-hard fans, and it is hard to imagine what these fans will do. But what they didn't expect was that people from the Princess Knights came out to appeal to fans to stay calm and not be impulsive, which really made most people restrain themselves, so even if they started to spray, it seemed to be huge, but it was only a small amount. Just part of it. But just this small part made Lin Yu secretly speechless. However, Lin Yu was sarcastic in his heart. If more than 200 million people were complaining at the same time, maybe he would be under great psychological pressure and would not be able to bear the pressure from all aspects and give up, but now there are only more than 20 million people paying attention. To him, these curses it only made him more excited but not stressful. Of course, Lin Yu was even more looking forward to Susienur coming out to fight with him. He will definitely be popular by then. However, Lin Yu was destined to be disappointed. Just when the internet was in full swing and the storm was surging, in the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Miobi Weibo, which had been silent for 3 days, finally made some noise on this day. Susienur posted a message on Weibo. Seeing this Weibo, people all over the country were dumbfounded. Darlings, don't be afraid, don't be vain, don't panic. Because we like URBQS the most, so we will finish the book normally. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 331. On the first day after Lin Yu posted that Weibo post, many media outlets held back. But they still reported it in the afternoon and evening, which made many people who didn't know the news immediately know about it. Susienur's fans knew almost all of it immediately. After all, fans are paying attention to their idol all the time. This is the basic quality of a quasi-diva level idol fan. Although Susienur has not yet reached the level of a queen, she is already a little queen. Of course, this is based on the entertainment industry. In fans' minds, Susienur is not from the entertainment industry. Although she also sings, Her main job is to draw comics. Even in their opinion, Sujug, the virtual singer, does not belong to the entertainment industry. Jug is the only idol in their act circle. Fans became furious when Lin Yu posted on Weibo. If the people from the Princess Knights hadn't kept everyone calm, Lin Yu might have had to stay at home and order takeout every day. However, Lin Yu had been prepared for this for a long time, and at night, Lin Yu could even feel the anger of the fans on his Weibo. This really made him frightened, but fortunately, with the comfort of the Princess Knights, many people did not take drastic actions. But Lin Yu then thought about it: in this modern society, how can there be any mentally retarded person who would run into reality and cause trouble? Just because of an idol? He admitted that Susiener did not have any black spots. Maybe a girl drawing a book is a black mark, but someone has already said this. There were people who were so slanderous about Susiener at that time, but no one paid any attention to her, or simply treated her coldly. In addition, even though Susiener was revealed to be a girl at that time, many people were still skeptical. So this isn't a black spot at all, now it's more like a cute spot. But today Lin Yu jumped out to black Susiener, and he naturally thought carefully about it. In the evening, Lin Yu's Weibo attention reached 50 million, which made him so excited that his whole body was trembling. He was really excited. Although a large number of people would definitely cancel their attention after this incident, he would be satisfied as long as a few percent remained. Of course, at 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, when there are the most people online, he posted a Weibo after being trolled by Susiener's fans on the internet. I know that as idol fans, you are very angry, and as a die-hard fan of Teacher Miyobi, I understand it very well, but I just want an answer from Teacher Miyobi. As long as she comes forward to answer this question and clarify the matter, I will do it in person. Apologize. Lin Yu said this sincerely, but when Susiener's fans saw it, they couldn't help it anymore. This guy is really shameless, he just says so if he wants to take advantage of the heat. Chen Rui, who was always paying attention to the other party, couldn't help but sneered when he saw this Weibo post. What is Susiener's identity now? A small marketing account questioned, and Susiener was about to respond. He thinks too highly of himself. If Susiener really responds, or answers Lin Yu's question head-on, what will happen if other marketing accounts also cause trouble in the future? Chen Rui is not in a hurry, because Susiener has already said that there is a solution, so he is waiting. Zhao Jing of Tencent Animation is also waiting. As for this, on the second day, Susiener had not come forward to speak, and even Bilibili and Tencent Animation had not made any move. This made the media unable to restrain themselves. They felt that it was best to report this kind of thing as soon as possible. To clarify, there is no need to pay attention to that marketing account. In fact, Chen Rui and Zhao Jing felt the same way. When Susiener had not responded the next day, they became anxious. They even called Susiener to ask about the situation, but Susiener's understatement and lazy tone made them feel relieved again. But the two of them are still suspicious. Could it be that Susiener wants to use this matter to create hype? But it's not like that. The most important thing is that from their understanding, Susiener is not a person who likes to speculate. The other party is very salty, and the Weibo account does not have a dedicated agent to manage it. The most important thing is that Susiener's popularity and fans now mean there is no need for hype. Hype can also create bad variables. Previously, Chen Rui and Zhao Jingdu suggested that the other party find someone to manage the Weibo account and interact with fans on Weibo every day, but the other party had no awareness of this at all, leaving more than 200 million fans to waste everything there. Would Susiener like this go to hype? Although the two of them were anxious, they were still relatively relieved about Susiener. But the media and other marketing accounts didn't think so. Susiener didn't reply for so long. Is there really something fishy? The happiest person here belongs to Lin Yu. After he posted the second Weibo, he thought it over carefully. As long as the other party replies to him, he can use language and text to ask other questions. And if the other party doesn't reply to him like now, thinking of this, Lin Yu smiled slightly and posted his third Weibo post the next day. Teacher Miyobi, why don't you reply to me? Is there really something fishy here? The fans were so angry that they were about to explode. Anyone with a discerning eye can see that this guy is a bitch. However, even so, some fans who are fans of the authorities are still affected. In the final analysis, this is Susiener's fault. If she comes out to clarify immediately, fans will naturally support her. It's a pity that Susiener, who has made up her mind to retire, naturally hopes that she will have more negative fans. In this way, she feels less guilty. Although she also knows that retiring is the greatest harm to fans, but she really doesn't want to draw comics anymore, she wants to enjoy life. There is an essential difference between Susiener and other time travelers. Others who time travel only want to dominate the world, no matter how hard and tiring they are willing to do so, but Susiener doesn't think so. Her dream is very small, that is, to earn enough with money, you can enjoy a good life. This is Xianyu's only dream. And this matter has become more and more popular on the internet, especially since Susiener has remained silent. Fans can't get any useful answers even if they bomb the Weibo and customer service of Bilibili and Tencent Animation. Even within the Princess Knights, there are some discordant voices. As the head of the group, Yeqing has been even more anxious in the past 2 days. He even went to Chen Rui directly. However, although Chen Rui knew that Susiener had a solution, he didn't know what it was, so he could only be vague. This made Yeqing deeply worried. He knew that Susiener was just a cartoonist, not like the entertainment industry where there were so many dirty things. And I often communicate with Chen Rui and Zhao Jing, and I also know that Susiener usually stays at home every day and doesn't go out at all, and there is no such thing as a shameful thing. Why did fans know that Susiener was very lazy? This was revealed by Yeqing intentionally or unintentionally, because he knew that as a public figure, he would definitely be caught and blackmailed by someone who wanted to do it. Even if there are no black spots, they will be produced. Therefore, Yeqing also roughly revealed Susiener's character in Princess Knights, so fans will naturally imagine the image of a dead-at-home girl sitting at home drawing comics, making up stories, and playing games every day. This impression did not disgust them, but rather endeared it to them. How could a girl who had become famous for her strength in the early stage and now became an idol that cannot be ignored in the country take great risks to participate in dirty things? Yeqing wanted to grab some fans by their collars and yell, "Think carefully with your 9-year compulsory education brains." Unfortunately, many people are still blind. This is not because they are not smart enough. But 3 people become a tiger, if more people say it, it becomes true if it is not true. What's more, the media and other marketing accounts also participated the next day. It made Yeqing, Yuan Dong, and Li Xiangdong feel powerless. Even Chen Rui and Zhao Jing had a vague feeling that things were getting out of control, and it would be too late if they didn't come forward to explain. And what happened on the 3rd day, this incident had already become known to the whole country. For an incident to turn out like this, no one expected it. Even Lin Yu, the maker, could not have imagined that Susiener did not come out to explain on the 3rd day. Just continue to be silent anyway? Doesn't the other party know that the fans are already a little undecided? Did some fans' doubts appear spontaneously on the internet? At this moment, Chen Rui and Zhao Jing felt a little regretful. They had known that they had clarified the situation on their official blog. But now it's the 3rd day. If Station B and Tencent Animation's official blog come forward, it will feel like they are trying to cover up. Even the people from the Animation Administration Bureau couldn't sit still and called Zhao Jing directly. What's going on with Tencent Animation? Don't you know about things on the internet? Didn't you remind Teacher Miyobi The Animation Administration Bureau knew about this on the first day, but they are a national agency and will not care about this. Susienner is the flag they want to set up, but they will not participate in such entertainment events. Of course, not participating doesn't mean they don't pay attention. After all, the current ACK industry was created by Susienner, and the other party single-handedly propped up the stagnant ACK industry. Susienner has a very important meaning to the ACK industry. It is not an exaggeration to say that the other party is a pioneer. They thought that this matter would be eliminated soon, but it has been 3 days, and there is no news at all. Let the online demons dance wildly. This. Zhao Jing received the call and didn't know what to say when he heard the questioning. You don't want to deal with it coldly, do you? Zhao Jing didn't say anything, but the leader of the Animation Administration Bureau misunderstood, and said in a cold voice, if we don't come forward to clarify this matter, the trouble will get bigger and bigger. Maybe it will happen in half a month, it will be eliminated automatically, but teacher Miyobi's reputation will definitely drop by a notch, and there will even be a large number of black fans, don't you know that? When Zhao Jing heard this, he didn't want to take the blame and said helplessly, there's nothing we can do. Teacher Miyobi asked us not to interfere. Not only Zhao Jing received the call, but Chen Rui also received the call. But both of them gave the same answer. Susienner will solve it. What's the solution? Have no idea. The two of them really didn't know, but the reason why they trusted Susienner so much was because this was a matter related to the other's own reputation. How could Susienner neglect this matter? Hurry up and inform teacher Miyobi to explain as soon as possible. If it's too late, there will be too many variables. The people at the Animation Administration Bureau were obviously very anxious at this time, but in this situation, other people really can't act rashly. Only Susienner herself can do it. Okay. When Zhao Jing and Chen Rui heard this, they also believed it. Then they called Susienner one after another. I know, I will post on Weibo tonight. The two people who received the answer couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Susienner was depressed. She wanted to wait for a few more days. She also paid attention to the internet these days. Although she wanted to catch the verbal and written critic and beat him up, she also knew that the other party was doing her a favor. Of course, she wouldn't be grateful. In the past 2 or 3 days, every time Lin Jingshu saw her, she was sulking. Because in her opinion, if Susienner wanted to retire, she should retire. Why did she have to do this? Couldn't she explain it earlier? Every time she went online and saw the comments, Lin Jingshu was so angry that she felt very uncomfortable. She didn't sleep well for 2 or 3 days and had dark circles under her eyes. And Shianayui Sakura's online novels have been discontinued in the past 2 days. She has no mood to write at all. She is fighting on the front line online and has been fighting with those haters on the keyboard for 2 or 3 days. Wang Zimen was also very worried. She dragged Susienner to play games every day, fearing that she would be in a bad mood. Even when Susienner was bored, she would send messages to the other party as Wang Zimen's boyfriend, but Wang Zimen replied that her good friend had something to do recently and might not have time to talk to her in the past 2 days. This touched Susienner so much. They are all good girls, and they are all her wings. At this time, the calls from Chen Rui and Zhao Jing made her determined to retire on Weibo in the evening. At 8 o'clock in the evening, Susienner directly posted a Weibo about her retirement, claiming that she was going to retire. At this moment, Zhao Jing was dumbfounded, Chen Rui was dumbfounded, the people in the administration were dumbfounded, the cartoonists were dumbfounded, the fans were dumbfounded, and the onlookers were dumbfounded. Lin Yu was shocked. I have made enough money, and my life is stress-free. I am starting to enjoy a good life. I will not draw books and comics in the future, suspend all commercial activities, withdraw from the fan group, cancel my Weibo account in 1 day, and stop writing. That's it. August 21, 2017, Miyobi will stay. Lin Yu read this Weibo post more than a dozen times, and even found a typo. Miyobi, retired? No more comics? Hey, don't be funny. This joke is not funny at all. Lin Yu looked at the night under the street lights outside the window, and for some reason, a deep sense of fear surged in his heart. This Weibo post made him feel that his life was threatened, although the other party said nothing, did nothing, and even seemed to know nothing about what happened online in the past 2 or 3 days. But this made him breathless. He knew that he was finished. Did he go too far? Lin Yu thought about this question more than once, but denied it. However, it was not too much at all. The stars in the entertainment industry don't know how many times they have been hacked like this, and those whistleblowers and black fans are still alive and well? But why? Why did he find an opportunity, and teacher Miyobi treated him like this? Sitting on the chair, Lin Yu trembled and picked up the phone and called Yao Yaoling. Hello, Yao Yaoling. Someone broke into the house and robbed in Qinghua Community, Linkhong District. Come quickly, Lin Yu reported a false case. He hoped that he would be detained for 1 or 2 months and seek the protection of the police uncle. Otherwise, he was really afraid that Susiener's fans would come to his door and deal with him. Never underestimate the madness of fans. This chapter is 2 in 1. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 333. Chapter 321 Retire? This joke is not funny. 2 in 1. Lin Yu was not like the mentally retarded villains in many online novels. When Susiener announced her retirement, he posted a Weibo asking if she was afraid. So, when Lin Yu was taken away by the police uncle, he looked at some unknown people at the gate of the community and felt fortunate. But Lin Yu obviously overlooked one thing. He was able to find him so quickly and asked people to come over. How could he give up just because he was detained? And how could he be sure that there were no fans of Susiener in the police? After all, the police uncle is also an ordinary person. Before being arrested for reporting a false case, Lin Yu had deleted all the Weibo posts he had posted before, but he did not think about other situations. And there are many people like him. These are all very smart marketing accounts. This time, Susiener's Weibo post shocked the entire network, and just after Susiener posted the Weibo, her phone exploded. The first person to call was her aunt. Although this guy is obsessed with work and is developing the game as a lane all day long. But Yayuking is not a caveman. When Susiener retired, she called to ask about the situation. And Chen Shui, after this guy came to Yanjing, Susiener asked him to help her aunt. However, the two were quickly evaded by Susiener. After sending away her aunt and Chen Shui, Asada Sayori called again. What's the matter? Why did you retire, little guy? How old are you? You just went to college and have a bright future, so you just wasted it? You are in the dormitory of the Conservatory of Music, right? I have time tomorrow, I will go to see you tomorrow. As soon as she answered the phone, Asada Sayori's anxious voice came over. Although she was disappointed, Susiener could still feel the concern. Of course, after hearing the latter words, she curled her lips. Are you going to force me to do something shameful? She has not forgotten that she was caught by this guy at the annual meeting and then forced to do such and such things, which is really shameful. Stinky girl, Asada Sayori couldn't help but said angrily, tell me, are you faking your retirement? She was too anxious just now, so she didn't think much, but her agent reminded her, and now she is a little awake. After all, Susiener has been hacked too hard on the internet these 2 days. This is probably Susiener's method, right? When Susiener heard this, she wanted to send the other party away quickly. She rolled her eyes and said with a sneer, I didn't expect that you would see through my method. This made Asada Sayori laugh and scold, and her mood relaxed. Obviously, in her urgency, she didn't think deeply, and now she got the answer, she was relieved. After sending Asadase Ori away, Susiener hung up the phone and turned it off directly, not giving these people a chance at all. And she was thinking, since she had retired anyway, she could just change her number. However, even if she couldn't be contacted, there were other ways to break through. After being confused, Chen Rui and Zhao Jing reacted instantly. Could this be Susiener's way of dealing with it? Although this could eradicate the root of the problem, it was completely a case of killing 1,000 enemies and hurting 800 of oneself. Now that these hateful marketing accounts have been dealt with, even the media are too confused to act rashly. But if Susiener announces her comeback later, wouldn't it be a joke in the eyes of others? By then, those marketing accounts will probably find another black spot to blacken. Under this circumstance, Chen Rui and Zhao Jing couldn't get through Susiener's number, and they were as anxious as ants on a hot pot. After Chen Rui was anxious, his eyes suddenly lit up. Susiener's phone was turned off, but wasn't there Lin Jingshu? Thinking of this, he dialed Lin Jingshu's mobile number. At this time, Susiener's Weibo had already exploded. Miyobi, stop joking. This joke is not funny at all. And there is a typo in your Weibo post. Delete it immediately and we will pretend it never happened. This Weibo post was pinned high. At this moment, almost all fans were in a state of anxiety. They didn't even bother to criticize those marketing accounts. They just wanted Susiener to give them a reply, saying that it was a joke. However, after Susiener deleted the Weibo post, she didn't care. Anyway, she would cancel this Weibo account tomorrow. Just at this time, another mentally retarded marketing account jumped out. Hee, Miyobi is completely irresponsible. Instead of clarifying himself, he announced his retirement. Is it because the matter is completely true? And do you think that the comics industry can't develop without you? At Miyobi. However, as soon as this Weibo post was posted, it directly aroused the anger of fans. Fans who had kept the last bit of calm directly tore this Weibo post to pieces. And less than 15 minutes later, this Weibo post issued an apology, saying that he was blinded by interests and asked Susiener and fans to forgive him. In just 15 minutes, no one knows what happened. After this Weibo apology, other marketing accounts successively posted apology Weibos and deleted all previous Weibos. This shocked the entire network. Apparently there is an invisible hand influencing the network. Even the real media was affected, and some media even tactfully admitted the previous unrealistic reports on their official blogs. At this time, Chen Rui was not too anxious, and he called Lin Jingshu's cell phone. Teacher Jingshu, is Teacher Miyobi's phone out of battery? Chen Rui obviously thought that this was Susiener's way of doing things for the other party's marketing account. After all, Susiener claimed 2 days ago that there would be a way to sanction this marketing account. What made Chen Rui and Zhao Jing laugh and cry was that it was this method. It was too messy. Didn't they know that this would overdraw the trust of fans? This was a completely bad idea. As for Susiener's retirement, they didn't think too much about it because it was too unrealistic. Susiener had no reason to retire. Now was the peak of the other party. With Susiener's current status, she would be a symbol of the industry in a few decades. And now, Susiener is the banner of the act circle. Lin Jingshu, who received Chen Rui's call, didn't speak. She opened Susiener's room and saw that she was still playing games with Wang Zimen. She was speechless for a while. However, this matter will eventually be known to others. Lin Jingshu said a little nervously, Chairman Chen, classmate Su is sleeping and has no time to answer the phone now. Sleeping, Chen Rui felt that he had heard the funniest joke. Susiener's work and rest schedule was definitely very disordered, and it was only 8 o'clock in the evening, when she was having fun online and playing games. How could she sleep? After thinking about it, Chen Rui said calmly, "Teacher Jingshu, you should know the Weibo that Teacher Miyobi just posted." After hesitating for a while, Lin Jingshu said, "I know." "Is this fake?" Chen Rui said bluntly. He must have a clear answer now, otherwise even if he knew in his heart that this was Susiener's way of dealing with marketing accounts, he would not be able to calm down. It was too scary. And it was said on Weibo that the Weibo account would be cancelled tomorrow. This was too impulsive. The reason why fans did not doubt Susiener's words at all and thought that Susiener was really going to retire was because of this. Cancel the Weibo account tomorrow. How could you say this? If the Weibo account is cancelled, then the more than 200 million fans will be gone. Lin Jingshu opened her mouth and recalled what Susiener had just said to her. "If Chen Rui and Zhao Jing or anyone else calls you, just say I'm joking. Let's delay for a day and wait for them to calm down tomorrow." However, Lin Jingshu didn't think so. She felt that if she gave everyone hope and announced her real retirement tomorrow, it would be a blow to everyone. And she felt that it was better to make a prompt decision on such matters. Since she was going to retire, there was nothing to say. Thinking about it, Lin Jingshu said firmly, "Chairman Chen, classmate Su said she was tired of drawing comics and wanted to rest, so she announced her retirement. She felt that being a public figure was too tiring and didn't want to be exposed under the camera, so it was better to retire directly." This was after classmate Su's careful consideration. After listening, Chen Rui was dumbfounded. "Teacher Jingshu, are you kidding?" Chen Rui, who was always calm, had a trembling voice at this time. If he had the ability, he would have wanted to catch Lin Jingshu from the phone and let her explain clearly. Retire? This joke is really not funny at all. Indeed, since Susiener debuted, in addition to the Susien series and the extra chapters, there are only one life and death book, Your Name and Food Wars. Soul that Luoan is currently drawing. Apart from that, there are no other works. Not even a long comic. But Susiener's position in the comics industry is unshakable. She is also a benchmark figure valued by the Animation Administration. He heard from the people in the Animation Administration that there will be an important task coming soon, which is about this industry. And the people above value Susiener very much. Before, the people of the Art Association wanted to absorb Susiener into the association for this reason, but considering that Susiener was drawing books, she was passed. But in Chen Rui's opinion, sooner or later, the people of the Art Association will find Susiener. Whether it is because of the other party's fame, or the status and strength in the ACT circle, Susiener cannot be missing. As a result, Susiener is really going to retire? He estimated that if the people in the Animation Administration got this news, they would definitely be confused. Chen Rui was right. The Animation Administration Bureau was in chaos. Director Huang of the Yanjing headquarters was furious. And they were the ones who handled the apologies of those marketing accounts on the internet. As for the private matters of the fans, he even suppressed them. He also hated Lin Yu, so he turned a blind eye to some actions. Contact Miyobi quickly. Ask what happened. If it's because of something on the internet, the Animation Administration Bureau will give her an explanation and tell her not to be impulsive and willful. At 9 o'clock in the evening, Director Huang said coldly to the staff with his mobile phone. Susiener is the hope of their department's rise. Okay, Minister, the staff wiped the cold sweat and was anxious in his heart. He didn't expect Susiener to do such a thing suddenly. The ACT industry is like other industries in the end. In the past, the Animation Administration Bureau thought that the development of ACT would take 10 years or even later to innovate. By then, there must be several or even dozens of comic masters who would break this situation. It can be said that this is the case, because before Susiener came, they didn't see any hope. But the emergence of Susiener broke this line. With her stunning painting style, she directly forced the ACT industry to develop for 20 to 30 years. The ever-changing painting styles now are proof of this. It may be a bit exaggerated to say that a painting style can change the entire industry. But this is not an exaggeration. The reason why the ACK industry could not develop in the past was that the few fans were monopolized by those martial arts cartoonists, which led to a small number of cartoonists. The appearance of Susienner completely shaped the painting style, making readers love this style and giving hope to many people who want to be cartoonists. This is a development that is linked to one another. The development in the past year has reached the development of the past 10 years. And this situation has also caused Susienner's terrifying popularity. Now no reader in the ACK industry does not know Susienner, and almost all of them are her fans. It can be said that Susienner's every move now is leading the industry, and the most important thing is that she is only 18 years old. This age means that Susienner can dominate this industry for decades, or even a lifetime. This is why the Animation Administration Bureau values Susienner and pays almost all attention to her actions. Because Susienner is young, and youth is capital. In addition, the power of the Animation Administration Bureau is also linked to the development of the ACK industry. As long as the influence of the ACK industry becomes greater and greater, the power of their administration bureau will naturally become greater and greater. In Director Wang's opinion, Susienner is the noble person of their animation administration. Although they have not had any contact, Susienner did not want to show up before, so they concealed and suppressed it. It can be said that the animation administration has been silently supporting Susienner behind the scenes. As a result, Susienner actually posted such a Weibo. Doesn't Susienner know how much she is involved? At home, Director Huang walked back and forth for a few steps, but in the end he was still worried. He planned to go there in person tomorrow to meet Susienner. Susienner had close business dealings with Chen Rui and Zhao Jing before, so in Director Wang's opinion, their animation administration did not need to meet Susienner. After all, frequent visits would make people gossip. In addition, Susienner was studying in the Magic City before, and they did not want to cause trouble for each other. But now that this situation has occurred, they must meet. At this time, Chen Rui was still talking to Lin Jingshu. That, Chairman Chen, classmate Su actually thought about retiring when she was in high school, but she didn't tell you at the time because she was afraid to scare you. Now she is in college, and she said she doesn't want to draw comics anymore. Does teacher Miyobi want to be irresponsible to her fans? Chen Rui couldn't believe it. If Susienner retired in her 50s or 60s, fans probably wouldn't say anything. After all, she was too old to draw anymore. But Susienner is only 18 years old now. You're 18, why are you retiring? If others have this kind of fame, they will definitely go further. Susienner is good, retiring at the peak of her career. Isn't that stupid? Of course, Chen Rui didn't say this, he just hopes Susienner can say it's a joke. 2 in 1. There's another 2 in 1 chapter later. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 334. Finally, Chen Rui had no choice. Lin Jingshu didn't let him talk to Susienner at all, or Susienner didn't want to talk to him at all. In the end, he called and got only a piece of news. Susienner is really going to retire, this is not a joke. Tonight is destined to be a sleepless night, and a large group of Susienner's fans are incredible. They can't believe it at all. As fans, they really can't think of deep things, but as long as they have thinking creatures, they think that Miyobi teacher will not retire, and they don't even have the idea of Susienner retiring in their minds. They are still waiting for Miyobi teacher to come out and clarify. As long as he comes out and says a word, they will support Susienner, and as for any black spots, all go away. As a result, Susianer didn't clarify at all, and directly issued a retirement announcement. While the fans were incredible, making a fuss on Weibo, and the forum was also hotly discussed, some media kept silent, obviously having received warnings from the animation administration. As for those marketing accounts, they dare not show their heads now. The culprit, Lin Yu, was of course enjoying himself in the detention center. The next morning, Chen Rui woke up with a dark circle under his eyes, or rather, he didn't sleep much at all. He had been on the phone last night to discuss what to do. Just when Chen Rui had a headache, he received a call from Zhao Jing. Hello. Chen Rui adjusted his mentality and answered the phone. Chairman Chen, we won't exchange extra words. I'm sure you know the situation this time. I'm calling you this time to find out if you can contact Teacher Miyobi. Zhao Jing's tone was solemn. Just now, he called Susianer, but the prompt was turned off, which made him feel more ominous. This time, he called Chen Rui to find out if the other party could be contacted. He wanted to call the other party last night, but Chen Rui's phone was always on the phone. Chen Shui did get through, but Chen Shui couldn't get through to Susianer because it was turned off. As for Lin Jingshu, she was afraid that someone would contact her again, so she answered Chen Rui's call very cleverly and turned off the phone. I called Teacher Jingshu last night and asked about the situation. Hearing this, Chen Rui smiled bitterly. There is some bad news. How is it? Zhao Jing asked hopefully. Chen Rui naturally knew what the other party wanted to ask. To be honest, he still couldn't believe that Susianer was really going to retire, but just now Lin Jingshu had been preventing him from talking to Susianer, which made him know that it might be true. Thinking of this, Chen Rui didn't even know whether to tell the other party. Maybe Chen Rui was silent for too long. Zhao Jing couldn't help but urge, did something happen? To be honest, Susianer's retirement was unexpected by everyone, and they couldn't react in time. The most important thing is, directly announcing retirement on Weibo. This caught them off guard, and Susianer also announced that she would cancel her Weibo account tomorrow. This is too much of a way out for herself. I learned from Teacher Jingshu that Teacher Miyobi seems to really want to retire, and the other party had this idea a few months ago. Chen Rui still didn't hide it. After all, this news couldn't be concealed. The most important thing is that he also hopes that Tencent Animation can think of a solution, and of course he hopes that Yanjing Animation Administration can find a solution. What? Zhao Jing couldn't help it. He had some hope in his heart, but now it was directly broken by Chen Rui. Thinking of something, he couldn't help but said anxiously, we must not let Teacher Miyobi retire. But, if Teacher Miyobi really wants to retire, we can't stop it. Chen Rui felt that the other party had lost his mind. Susianer wanted to retire, could you still force her to cancel this Weibo? Chen Rui knew Susianer. This girl usually made up her mind and basically would not regret it. He didn't believe that Zhao Jing didn't know the other party after getting along for so long. We must stop it, Zhao Jing said with a serious face, and then realized that he had said a little too much. His tone was relaxed, but with great anxiety. Sorry, but Chairman Chen, haven't you received any news yet? What news? The news of those cartoonists. Zhao Jing's anxiety was not without reason, or it could be said that the entire Tencent Animation was a little bit unbelievable now. Now the entire Tencent Animation employees, including him, were ants on a hot pot. If Susianer retires, the AC industry will be finished in a short time. Just as Zhao Jing and Chen Rui were explaining the situation in detail, Director Huang had already arrived outside the Huaxia Conservatory of Music. He got up early in the morning, but it was only 5 or 6 o'clock, so it was not easy to come. After waiting for 2 or 3 hours, he prepared a car to come. As soon as he arrived at the school gate, Director Huang was a little confused. Why are there so many people? Xiaolin, the driver and secretary, was shocked by the dense crowds at the school gate. However, he thought they were holding some activities. As a result, he got off the car to ask, and came over and said, "Director, because Myobi teacher has long been exposed to be in the Huaxia Conservatory of Music, many fans directly blocked the school gate. Last night, the fans made a fuss all night, and Susiener did not come out to explain. As the general leader, Yeching actually made trouble in the group. He summoned fans in Yanjing who were free and could take a car to the entrance of the Huaxia Conservatory of Music today, and planned to sit in silence at the school gate. This was the scene that Chief Huang saw when he drove over. It was truly shocking. If you count them carefully, the entire campus gate is full of people, but no one is making noise, which is shocking. Director Huang really didn't expect Susiener's fans to be so loyal. You know, if you gather to sit in and disrupt the order, you will go to jail. Of course, it was the leaders. But Yeching and the other two didn't care so much. Director Huang naturally didn't want the impact of this incident to continue to expand, or this kind of bad impact, but looking at the current situation, these people should have just arrived, and the security guards are still persuading them, and haven't called the police yet. After all, this is the entrance of the university, and it is natural to solve it privately if it can be solved privately. But obviously, there is no effect. After Director Huang understood the situation, he asked Xiaolin to get a loudspeaker. Everyone. Director Huang held up the loudspeaker and said directly, "Everyone, please listen to me." To be honest, he didn't expect things to develop to this point. It has only been a day since Susiener posted on Weibo. No, it's only been half a day. It has developed to this point. Can't these fans wait a while? Maybe Susiener is just joking? But Director Huang also saw that these fans are real die-hard fans, and they are not willing to wait for a moment. After all, if Susiener really retires, wouldn't they regret not doing anything? Some people on the internet have begun to say that it is because of this group of fans that they did not suppress the comments of those black fans when the rhythm started, which led to the current situation. If the source was eliminated directly when the incident happened, would Teacher Myobi do this? I'm afraid not. Teacher Myobi quietly drew comics, and finally appeared in cosplay once, benefiting this group of fans, and then when the black fans appeared, they were still watching the show? Still waiting for Teacher Myobi to clarify himself? They obviously did not fulfill their duties as fans. Since they did not fulfill their duties as fans, it is natural that Teacher Myobi was disappointed. This statement may be extreme, but after seeing it, Yeching felt that it made sense. That's why this morning's incident happened. In the future, I won't combine two into one, giving you the illusion that I am very hard-working. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 335. Huang Xuantao's voice was loud, and everyone's eyes immediately focused on him. Seeing this, Huang Xuantao took a deep breath and said, "I can understand your mood, but the matter is not solved like this. Today I came to Teacher Myobi to solve this matter. What happened on Weibo in the past 2 days is our fault. The animation and animation administration failed to protect Teacher Myobi, which made Teacher Myobi suffer. But you also know that Teacher Myobi is only 18 years old and in his youth, so he can be very impulsive sometimes. Who are you?" When Yeching saw Director Huang, his eyes lit up. He naturally knew who the other person was. Now that Director Huang had come to persuade him, could he stop Teacher Myobi from retiring? Of course, he asked this entirely for the fans. After all, ordinary people really don't know the middle-aged man in front of them. When Director Huang saw Yeching, he couldn't help but be startled. Then his mind changed and he suddenly thought of something. His eyes widened. This guy actually caused trouble in front of the China Conservatory of Music. Isn't he afraid of affecting his father's career? Thinking of this, Director Huang felt slightly relieved. Since it was organized by Yeching, the other party should not go too far. Moreover, he was observing and talking just now, and he understood clearly. No wonder the security didn't call the police. It was entirely because these fans just sat on both sides of the school. Although it was densely packed, there was still a way for the students to enter the school. It was just that there were too many people on both sides, which made him ignore it. Now he took a look. Even if the police come, they probably won't be able to control Yeching and the others. After all, it is a public place outside the school. As long as Yeching and the others don't cause trouble, no one will care about them even if they sit here for days and nights. Thinking of this, Director Wang's expression softened and he said seriously, I am Huang Xuntao, the current director of the Yanjing Animation Administration Bureau. Since you all like Teacher Miyobi, you should also know the Animation Administration Bureau. As soon as this was said, everyone became a little commotion. They naturally know that the Animation and Animation Administration is a department set up by the state to specifically develop the ACK industry. However, the ACK industry used to be a joke, and the Animation and Animation Administration naturally has no power to use. But now, as the ACK industry develops, this department's voice is naturally getting higher and higher, and it also plays a crucial role in the development of ACK. Now that the directors from the headquarters are here, can we persuade Teacher Miyobi to return? At this moment, everyone looked at Huang Xuntao with anticipation in their eyes. After learning that this group of people was not gathering to make trouble, Huang Xuntao breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he knew that Yeching did not dare to really disrupt the order, so he promised everyone that he would definitely give everyone an explanation. Huang Xuntao then entered the school, and Xiaolin quickly found out where Susiener lived. Arriving at the door of the villa in front of him, Huang Xuntao felt a little uneasy. This made him a little incredible. After all, Susiener was just an ordinary person. Why was he nervous? However, Huang Xuntao also knew in his heart that Susiener alone represented an industry, and as the director of the Animation Administration Bureau, his status was really linked to the other party. As long as the ACK industry becomes more developed, its status will be higher. If this industry slumps, then the Animation and Animation Administration will be nothing more than an empty frame. Susiener has an absolute status in the ACK circle, so she really has to offer her up. Thinking about it, Huang Xuntao rang the doorbell. Who is it? Soon a girl's voice sounded. Huang Xuntao thought it was Susiener, so he couldn't help but cough slightly. Is it Teacher Miyobi? I am Huang Xuntao from the Animation Administration Bureau. I took the liberty to come to visit today and want to talk. Something. Ah, Lin Jingshu couldn't help but become nervous when she heard this from inside the door. She thought that the other party was here to ask Susiener to accuse her. Just when she was about to find an excuse to refuse, she heard Huang Xuntao continue to say, it's such a wonderful stroke. Teacher, I came here today just to understand the situation. After all, such a big thing happened and I can't contact you. Your fans, the administration, Tencent Animation, and Bilibili are all very anxious. Hearing this, Lin Jingshu hesitated for a while and said, wait a minute. To be honest, Lin Jingshu didn't want Susiener to be scolded by others in the future, but the other party was too willful and would not care about many things. Even if she was blackmailed, she would not bother to come forward to clarify. In the words of the other party, being hacked does not mean that you will lose a piece of flesh. If you respond, wouldn't you be at a disadvantage and fall into the other party's way? Although that's what he said, in Lin Jingshu's opinion, fans who don't know the truth will always misunderstand, and they have to explain it to the fans. It's so irresponsible to retreat inexplicably. When the door opened, Huang Xuntao was stunned for a moment. He thought it was Susiener, but he didn't expect it was Lin Jingshu. You guys come in first, I'll call her. Lin Jingshu invited Huang Xuntao in, but the secretary did not come in, but stood guard outside. Huang Xuntao was sitting on the sofa in the living room, and soon saw Lin Jingshu coming downstairs with Susianer, who was fully dressed. I just wanted to cancel my Weibo account. Don't log out yet. When Huang Xuntao heard the sound from upstairs, he couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Apparently, if he had come a step later, Susianer would have probably logged out of Weibo. When Susianer came downstairs, Huang Xuantao's eyes lit up with admiration. Although he had seen photos of Susianer on the internet, it was still different when he saw her in person. First of all, it was the temperament. Well, different from the online photos, although the real Susianer is cuter, she also looks more lazy. What do you want to talk to me about? Susianer didn't even bother to say hello when she came down. Lin Jingshu came up with a drink and couldn't help but glared at Susianer. Huang Xuntao had also known Susianer's personality before he came, so when he heard it, although he was still very anxious, he smiled gently and said, "Mr. Miyobi, in fact, I came here today to ask if you really want to retire." He felt that if he wanted to convince the other party, he had to know why Susianer wanted to retire. Otherwise, if he didn't even know the reason, wouldn't he be at a loss? "Of course I want to retire, I'm not kidding." Susianer was speechless. Did the other party come here just to talk nonsense to her? Thinking about it, he said, "I wrote the reason on Weibo, didn't you believe it?" Huang Xuntao smiled bitterly, "Can you tell me the real reason?" Susianer's Weibo said that she had made enough money. He didn't believe it, it was too childish. The real reason, Susianer knew that this guy would not leave easily if he came to her house. If she didn't give him a reason, it would be troublesome if he refused to leave. Thinking of this, Susianer said with a serious face, "Actually, the reason is very simple." "Yes, it's very simple." Then, without waiting for the other party to speak, she continued, "When I was drawing comics, it was because the style of the comics circle was too bad. But I like to read comics and animations very much. Unfortunately, the style of comics is not normal, which makes the animations very hot. So I made up my mind to correct the style of comics and let the audience accept the normal style. When I lead it, there will definitely be many cartoonists following the trend, then as long as this is the case, newcomers will enter this industry, and comics will flourish. At that time, I can pick the comics and animations I like to watch at will. So, now that I have made enough money, I naturally have to start enjoying life. I don't want my life to be too tiring." Susianer did not hide that this was her goal of traveling through time. Now that the goal has been achieved, if he doesn't retire to enjoy life, will he still work so hard to draw comics? Huang Xuntao was silent. Seeing Susianer's serious look, it was obvious that she was not lying. He opened his mouth, and just when Huang Xuntao was about to speak, his personal mobile phone rang. Looking at the incoming call, Huang Xuntao smiled apologetically, and then answered it. "What?" In less than a minute, Huang Xuntao stood up in shock, and then looked at Susianer, and couldn't help but said in shock, "Miyobi teacher, did you cancel your Weibo account?" "Well, I just cancelled it when I went downstairs, what's wrong?" Susianer blinked innocently, with a silly face. 4 more completed. Please recommend.